Welcome everybody. It's lovely to see you all here, and it's the last meeting for Councillor Gilbert Wilson and Councillor John Northcote, so thank you for joining us. Don't get so excited, Gilbert, please.
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
It's your last meeting. I do want you to try and behave just for the last meeting. All right, thank you everybody. On behalf of the Glenelg Shire, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional lands and waters of the Gunda Jamara, the Jali Jali and the Bowendik people and their respective cultural heritages. I acknowledge the elders past and present here at today's gathering and through them to all Aboriginal people. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people provide an important contribution to Australia's cultural heritage and identity. We respectfully acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community living throughout the Glenelg Shire and the contribution that they make to the Glenelg Shire's prosperity and well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, to those that are here present today in the gallery, and by attending the public meeting of the Council, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. Council meetings may be live streamed and the Chief Executive Officer will enable a copy of the recording to the public. Receipt of apologies, Councillors. Councillor Scott Martin is an apology this evening. Councillors, item 5.1 is the confirmation of the minutes. Is somebody going to move? Councillor Robin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation that the minutes of the Council meeting held on the 24th of September 2024 as circulated be confirmed.
Councillor Alistair McDonald. Thank you. Councillors, it's been moved by Councillor Robin McDonald and second by Councillor Alistair McDonald. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. We'll move on to 5.2, which is the record of councillor briefings. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation that Council receives the record of councillor briefings held on the 24th of September and 8th of October 2024.
Thank you.
Second the motion.
Councillor Wilson. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Carr and second by Councillor Wilson. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest, councillors? Thank you. If there are none, we'll continue to move on. And number 7 is the councillor activity reports. And given that the Glenelg Shire is in election period policy, in election mode, our caretaker period, election period policy states in section 7.2.1 that electoral matters of any matter that is intended or likely to affect voting in an election and includes but not limited to material that deals with the election candidates and issues, potential contention of the election. So there are no activity reports for this evening. The same with the notices of motion, councillors, on item number 8. Within the governance rules that were adopted on the 23rd of January 2024, states in Chapter 8, Section 86.4 that during the election period, prior to the General Council election, the Chief Executive Officer will not accept any notices of motion or notices of rescission motions for consideration at a council meeting conducted during the election period. Councillors, we'll move on to agenda item number 9, the management reports. The first one is 9.1, the audit of financial statements for June 30th, 2024. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The financial statements for 23-24 are presented for Council. There's been a significant amount of feedback between Council staff, Council auditors, KPMG and Vargo. That has resulted in a number of minor changes. Councillors do have the updated version in their agenda papers. There's been some minor changes from what was uploaded on the website as late as Friday as well. In those changes, Madam Mayor, there's no changes to any materiality threshold. One of the main impacts was the treatment of the 120,000 K's worth of recreational contribution. When that is adjusted, Council is looking at a final result of a deficit of $1.8 million for the 23-24 year. That's a difference from the forecast budget of $1 million surplus. The main impacts, Madam Mayor, are the timing of the VGC grants and the allowance of a $2 million grant within the 23-24 year, which was ultimately not received. Other key impacts include a revision of the liability provision and a significant uplift in the revaluation of council's assets, predominantly infrastructure assets such as roads and bridges and the like. From the operating perspective, the actual expenses versus budget remains quite consistent after excluding the unreceived grants component. Challenges still remain with a lower cash position than previous years due to the program to address the carry forwards. Asset renewal also remains a concern. In regards to valuation methodology, we do expect further costs in the remainder of this particular year to confirm the revaluation of council assets. Advised as of today, this afternoon, KPMG have advised that Bargo have provided clearance for the accounts. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any questions? Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to Mr Hull, if that's okay. Over many years, the council spent a lot of money on the landfill restoration at the Portland tip site. We've spent millions of dollars on rehabilitating that area. In the report, there's a positive in the expenses, and on page 7 in the comprehensive income statement, and there's some differing figures referring to current and non-current figures further down on page 29. Just wondering if Mr Hull could just tell us what these figures represent and what is the commitment of this council going into the future, please.
Mr Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For a landfill aftercare program, it's a requirement to have a provision lasting some 30 years past closure of the landfill. It's not a cash back provision, but does show on the balance sheet, as Councillor Wilson has identified. Discussions through our finance team and through KPMG have reconsidered the methodology applied to that aftercare, and that, along with the landfill stop ceasing wastes circa 2016, 2017, a recalculation of the liability has been undertaken, which has a significant variation of that $5 million. We are also waiting for EPA clearance over the next, hopefully 12 months, which may result in a further review of that provision.
Thank you, Mr Hall. Does that answer that question?
Thank you, and thank you, Mr Hull, for that comprehensive answer.
Are there any further questions? Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just in relation to the balance sheet, there's a short-term cash/asset deficiency. Can you please expand on that, Mr Hull?
Through the Chair, certainly, as sort of identified in the auditors in the management letter, there is a short-term issue with our current cash versus current liabilities. Essentially, that is marked because of the significant amount of carry forwards that we actually have and grant money that has been received but not yet spent.
Okay. If there's no further questions, councillors, there is a recommendation there on page 8. And Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move one that Council approve in principle the audited financial report and performance statement, including governance and management checklist for the year ended 30 June 2024, and 2, that Councillor Stevens and Carr be authorised to certify the financial report and performance statement for the year ended 30 June 2024 and in their final form after any changes recommended or agreed by the auditor have been made. Thank you, Councillor Wilson.
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson, did you wish to say anything about that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is greatly appreciated appreciative of the auditor to run through our books, so to speak. It is a huge burden on our staff to maintain and go through the recommendations that are put forward by KPMG. I certainly do appreciate the work that our staff have done in the past and continue to do. The performance statement is probably part of our report card with the performance of this council over the last year. So I'm sure that councillors coming in can be comforted by having our financial reports audited in such a way. So I give this recommendation to councillors for their consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Councillor Allison.
I'd just like to reiterate Councillor Wilson's words, Madam Mayor. Staff have done an excellent job. We all know that it was a 12th-hour thing waiting for KPMG to do our auditing, and thanks to the staff for their tenacity to get this on board for tonight's meeting. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And just before I put the motion, CEO, could you please pass on to staff our sincere thanks to them? I know it's been a very difficult year fulfilling the requirements of the changes that the Auditor General wished for this particular audit at the last minute. So I think that we're one of a few councils that have been, hamstrung with some changes in valuations, etc. So, a mighty job by our staff. So if you could just pass that on, yes. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. The motion as tabled on page 8 has been moved by Councillor Wilson and seconded by Councillor Alistair McDonald. Those in favour, please. Carried. Thank you. Councillors, we'll move on to 9.2, which is the quarterly financial report for September 2024. Sorry. David, Mr. Hall.
Madam Mayor, thank you. The quarterly report is the first financial report for the current financial year.
Yep.
Again, will take some settling down for some of the figures. Councillors will see that the carry forwards from the previous year have been brought through and have pretty much affected the income. Most of the other income is tracking pretty much as per scheduled course to budget. With expenses, the main variation to the budget is our employing costs are slightly less than expected at this time of the year, likely due to vacancies in positions during recruitment. Our finance position is about just over $7 million, with a creditor run due this week. Capital expenditure for the quarter, Madam Mayor, is $1.7 million, with $1 million of that in renewal works. Again, with the season we're about to go into, we expect that to ramp up significantly over the coming months.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Questions, councillors? Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Within the report with the carry forward capital works, we have the Portland Airport hangar improvement for compliance works. Have we got tenants that have moved in yet, or are we still expecting tenants to move into this area?
Through the Mayor, so there's probably a couple of points to that question from Councillor Wilson. The capital work does relate to some certification work, so majority of the works have been undertaken. It's essentially just the finalisation of the essential services maintenance area. From my last update, it may have been a month or so, Councillor Wilson, is that the firm was not yet ready to take up the lease option. That may have changed recently, but we'll have another update in the next week or two.
No worries, appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you. Councillors, there's recommendation there on page 12 for consideration. Councillor Robin?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move the recommendation that Council receives the quarterly financial report for the period ending September 2024.
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Robin, any comments or straightforward?
No, nothing further, Madam.
Councillor Carr, straightforward? All right, councillors, the recommendation, the motion has been moved by Councillor Robin McDonald and second by Councillor Carr. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Councillors, we'll move on to 9.3, which is the Glenelg Shire Council Annual Report for 2023-24. There's a recommendation there. Oh, no. First of all, Miss Miller. I nearly forgot again. Miss Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I will present the 23-24 annual report for Council. As Mr Hull has mentioned, still to come is the VARGO statement and signatures on page 108 of the document. This year, the annual report includes the Q4 reporting for the council plan, so we've put them in together rather than having two separate reports, so you can reflect on those documents in one. Also, just noting the annual report must be considered in the year of a general election on a day not later than the day before the election, which is, of course, 26th of October, so we do need to endorse the annual report this evening. The format and contents accords with the reporting guidelines and legislation, and agenda impact assessment was not required for this document. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy to take comments or questions.
Thanks, Miss Miller. Councillors, questions, comments? There is a recommendation there. Councillor Northcote, did you have a comment?
Just wondering, Madam Mayor, how the community satisfaction survey forms part of this annual report. And there's a lot of work to be done by councillors, officers and staff to get the community behind us. I sort of long for the days of the long-term Shire Secretary and engineer in the Shire of Hayward, who they're there for 20 odd years each and are highly respected members of the community. And I hope that our staff, current staff, get anywhere near like the respect and confidence in their officers as those Shire of Hayward people had for many years. And up in Caston we had a long-term engineer in Ross Dart, and he was highly respected he ran a good ship and was highly respected, and I'd like to think that the current group of people here tonight will have the same sort of thoughts in the next 10 or 15 years that I have for those long-term capable managers and workforce in the Hayward Shire. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Northcote. Councillors, there is a recommendation there on page 14. Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the Council receive the Glenelg Shire Annual Report 2023-2024 in accordance with Section 100 of the Local Government Act 2020.
Thank you. A seconder, Councillor
Happy to
Palmer.
second, Madam Mayor.
Now, councillors, we are in caretaker mode.
Madam Mayor, and that's...
Unfortunately, I'm just going to say to the gallery, we can't talk about all the things that happened throughout the year and all the positive things we did, but I will give you some leniency, Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You better stand
In
up.
response to community satisfaction, Madam Mayor, we are under new management with the recruitment of Ms Havercroft, and we do have a staff that is willing to work for our community and give it all for our community. Our best asset, Madam Mayor, is our staff. I've said that previously and I'll keep saying it. I appreciate greatly the work of our staff. However, we've been down the low points with our community satisfaction. I'm sure this council, the next council, will work on it and build it up. We have in this report 90% achieved or on track to achieve. So that's a tick from me. And there's only 10% that are delayed So I think we've this council with its staff have worked diligently over the 12 months, and certainly look forward to the next council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Councillor Carr, you right there?
I'll be right. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Carr. Councillors, I'll put the motion that was moved by Councillor Wilson and seconded by Councillor Carr. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Well, that does bring us to the end of our meeting, but before we close, there's no urgent business. As is governance rules that were adopted in January 2024, stated in Chapter 8, Section 86.5, that council meetings held during the election period will not consider any urgent business, conduct public question time, or receive any submissions other than planning, deputations or delegations. So there will be no question time as well, and no questions from the gallery this evening. Councillors, this is the last meeting for Councillor Wilson and Councillor Northcote. I would just open up to either of you if you wish to say something. Who's going first? Councillor Northcote.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and it's a pleasure to see the buzz that's in this hall tonight, and certainly look forward to a pleasant year for the council going forward. I've had some notes, but they're still at home, but as is my want, I've nearly got up 19 years, and there's a few health issues starting to happen, and I'm certainly looking forward to the next phase. But one thing about it, when you're in council, there's always something on and something to look forward to, and something to fix, and I'll have time to cogitate on that, and because it's getting the work done, and that's what it's all about. I'm struggling a little bit, only because the wires aren't hooking up here. So, but the main thank you tonight is to my wife, and Helen is out there patiently waiting again, and she's, as the Mayor knows, is a very capable lady, and yes. So anyway, that's about all for me. And I'd like to thank Edna for coming tonight, because Edna beat me in an election in the Shire of Glenelg too many years ago, Edna, wasn't it?
A while ago now.
30 years. They just roll by, don't they? That's the thing. And and the thing about being a councillor, you have a few good little wins from time to time for the little people that you know, probably not prepared to or get pushed about by the bureaucracy that we are bound to work with. So with that, I'll hand over to Gilbert. Thank you.
So, John, you started your local government career in the Shire of Glenelg up in Casterton.
Yes.
Yes. And then you contested the election here in the Glenelg Shire. So 19 years.
Yeah.
Just about.
I sort of came in on a vacancy in the South Riding, in which we had the 4 ridings up in the Shire of Glenelg. And so I came in on a casual vacancy there that happened to be my father, who stepped aside because someone else nominated, and then chose not to come to an election, so to a council meeting. So sort of came in by the back door and there, and I had three terms in Casterton, 2 here in Portland, and came in with the unfortunate circumstances, I suppose, that happened. And it has to be said with happiness of working for being a councillor. So it's probably a bit of a delicate area to talk about tonight, but so that's.
So, John, you were Shire President up in the Shire of Glenelg in 89-90, and then you were Mayor here, and I forgot to look at the ball. What year was it?
I don't know.
2013.
2014.
13, 14.
Yeah, so nearly 20 years.
20 years ago.
Goodness sakes.
10. All right. Congratulations, John.
Thanks, Madam
On a
Mayor.
stellar career in local government. Put your hands together for John. Gilbert.
I'm going to stand because that's how it used to be.
Absolutely.
In this chamber.
Do we need a time on that?
If you have a time limit on it.
Thank you. I joined council sitting down with fellow councillors. There was 9 councillors at the end of the table. I was the younger one of the group in 88, and I was very fortunate to be at the same table as my father. And mentioning my father sort of gets a bit choky because we've both done 26 years together on council and both had 3 terms as mayor, and we both started our career on winning a by-election.
Right.
I lost more elections than him though. I lost 3 before I eventually won one and haven't lost one since. But I've certainly appreciated each and every member of the council, the organisation, the staff, management, particularly the CEOs through my time. I've had a few, and a couple left when I was mayor. I was sort of getting this look as if I was knifing them on the when I was getting the job, but that wasn't the case. The mayor and the CEO do have to work very closely together, and I do appreciate the way in which the CEOs did assist me through those roles, as did the managers that were around at that time. I won more battles than I lost, but some of the losses cut deep. There's a couple in the gallery that know what I'm talking about when it comes to hack services. I think that was one of the ones that I tried to keep in house, but that didn't work. But I do appreciate each and every councillor at the table here. I wish all the candidates the best for the election. I'm not one of them. But and I must say that there seems to be the election is going along very peacefully, and that's the way it should be. And no skullduggery that you would see in the Melbourne arena. But finally, I going to thank my wife because she'll kill me. She said, "Don't you thank me?" But yeah, Hillary has put up with a lot, and she's been there for me for the downs and the outs. And I did struggle with mental health issues during the time here, and even one embarrassing time I was sitting in the briefing and I just started crying. Didn't know why, but you know, that was how low my mental health was. But the support I received from Greek burgoyne at the time. That got me through. But my biggest help was my wife, and she made sure that I was dressed correctly, and made sure I didn't muck up. Although I might have had a couple of times. But anyway, thank you one and all, and I do mean when I say that the best asset this Shire has is our staff. And keep up the good work. Thank you.
Gilbert, your time on the City of Portland, and then in 2002 you and I came onto council together.
I was the youngest then.
You're always the youngest, only by about 5 months. Gilbert, thank you, is all I can say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hillary, he's been a challenge, but I also want to thank you for your support and for backing Gilbert. Helen's not here, John, but well, I don't think she's here, is she? She's not at the back there?
I think she'll be waiting in the car.
Oh, God, John. But Hillary, thank you very much for always being there and supporting us and supporting me and being on the other end of the phone when I said, can you sort Gilbert out for me, please? Can you sort him out? So thank you. Thank you one and all, and thank you for your attendance tonight. It's been great to see the support for Gilbert and John here tonight, and thank you to the staff. And that's the end of the meeting, so enjoy.
Moving adjournment for life.
No.
Tonight.
It's the last meeting. That's it. No more. End of story. Okay, well done.